Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask Dr. Dan, brought to you by Parent Footprint and Parent Footprint Awareness Training, which is an online interactive course to help parents like us be more aware, be present in our own lives, be present in our kids' lives, and take all of this journey of parenting with all of the stresses and worries and goals that we have for our children and be purposeful about how we parent them so we can have the outcomes that we want with our kids for their future, for our grandkids, and for our world. Today's topic is parenting moments. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about how this topic came up. I wrote a blog about it that I'm going to reference called Parenting Moments. And so this was a few weeks back when The Voice was still on the TV, and this is our favorite show, my wife and my favorite show, and we tape them and we look forward to watching them. And it kept getting delayed and delayed day after day because we had kid activities at night and we had homework. And we're finally getting ready to sit down and watch it and turn it on. And then our youngest said, "Hey, Dad, I've got some writing that we have to do together." So I said, "Oh, really now? Is it due tomorrow?" "Yep, it's due tomorrow." Okay, so I went into her room and I took the position on her bed and I helped her with this writing assignment. And then we were done with that. I looked at the clock. I'm thinking, all right, got to go to The Voice. The Voice it's waiting for us. I can't wait to finally chill out and sit on the couch and watch The Voice. And then she said, "All right, good. Now I have to have it memorized for tomorrow for the test." I said, "What? You have to have the whole thing we just wrote memorized?" "Oh, yep. You know how these things go. We did it last time. Don't you remember?" I did remember, but I didn't know it was one of these things. I look at the clock. It's getting late. Oh, okay. So I'm thinking, deep breath, and now she's memorizing everything. We get that thing done. And then she's like, "Oh, I just remembered. We got math. I've got a few more math problems. Okay, it's just going to be a few. Won't take long." I take another deep breath. I really wanted to go watch The Voice. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing that these are moments that are fleeting. Since I'm sitting with our youngest, who's a seventh grader, and we have two high schoolers, and we're looking at college and getting ready for college with the oldest, thinking, I don't know that I was as aware. Actually, I'll tell you that I wasn't as aware when I was in these sort of situations with our younger two, because I just felt like we were just trying to survive these moments, a lot of life going on, and just trying to get through the night. And as I sat back and watched her studying and looked at her thinking and asking me questions, I really felt this gratitude for even just being aware to have this time with her, and that she still wants me to help her. One of our kids doesn't want any help, doesn't want to talk to us about it, so that's not even an option anymore. So we get through the homework, and I am excited. It is later than I had planned, but it's time for The Voice. And she says, "Okay, I'll get ready for bed. It's bedtime." And of course I said, "What do you mean it's bedtime? Usually I'm the one to say it's time for bed." She said, "Look at the clock. What time do you expect us to go to sleep?" And what she means by that is we still have this tradition where I read to her before bed. And I just smiled and smirked and realized that The Voice wasn't going to happen tonight. But again, how fortunate to have these fleeting moments. And so in this blog, when I wrote about parenting moments, I'm going to read you a passage from a Shel Silverstein poem. And I immediately thought of this because this is our ritual we read Shel Silverstein most nights and go through his books over and over and over again, and she can almost recite the poem in the page. And so when I was writing this blog, I said, "Hey, you know what? I'm writing a blog, and I need that poem about the man who doesn't have a lot of time." And I said, I don't know which book it's in." And she said, "Oh," and she named the book it was in, and she said, "That's The Clock Man, and this is the picture of the guy with the clock." And so she was right. So I'm going to read you Clock Man. The Clock Man by Shel Silverstein. "How much will you pay for an extra day?" the clock man asked the child. "Not 1 penny," the answer came, "for my days are as many as smiles." "How much will you pay for an extra day?" he asked when the child was grown. Maybe $1 or maybe less, for I have plenty of days on my own. How much will you pay for an extra day? He asked when the time came to die. All of the pearls in all of the seas, and all of the stars in the sky. So I ask you to ponder on that poem and on this idea of parenting moments, and think about how fleeting our time is with our kids, and how even in the face of chaos and stress and emotion, that, as they say, this too shall pass, and it will, but then it also ends. And the other thing that I've been thinking a lot about lately in this era of what many will call over-parenting is having moments with our kids doesn't mean that we're always having to do something with them or correct them or influence them. Sometimes we can just notice the time and notice them growing up. And sometimes the best thing that we can do for them is to do absolutely nothing. And sometimes the best thing we can do for them is to watch their struggle, to ask them questions, to let them figure things out on their own. And sometimes the best days can be like these rainy weekends where our kids are in their room doing their own thing, and every once in a while call your name or pop out to see if you're there, and everyone's having their own space, their own time, because they feel safe enough and secure enough to be silent, even if they're engaging on Instagram or on their phones with their friends, that they can have some time for themselves. And I think it's critical for us to think about our kids' development and what they're needing, not only at this place in their life, but also at that moment. Do they need us to check in on them? Do they need us to leave them alone? And at the same time, how can we cherish these parenting moments, which are fleeting? So, on that note, think about the clock man. Think about how much you would pay for extra moments. Enjoy your moments. Enjoy your own moments. And when you think about your kids, think about what footprint you want to leave. See you next week.